Okay, I'm going to make a sponge feeding video, and I'm going to run through this. All you need are plain, chemical-free makeup wedges. You're going to trim it like this, as long as the puppy can get it in its mouth, and you see how flexible they are. And you can feed, I'm going to be feeding a preemie here. And what we do with these, some people will cut a slit in the top and take the tip of their syringe and put it into the split and direct it back this way. What we've done here, Tammy's miracle idea, we've gone inside with a hole. This way, I don't have to use, I can use either a tiny sponge or syringe, depending on who I'm feeding, but we're going to put a piece of IV tubing. You can also get this in the fish section, use a piece of tubing, stick it on the end, and what we're going to do is we're just going to go down inside of the sponge, right, and it directs it right to their mouth, and you don't soak all of this up in here. So this is what we're going to do, and then slowly you can hold it in your hand and control it by plunging it this way. And it gives you a little bit more flexibility when you're holding a baby. It's hard to do this with two hands. I've went ahead and prepared, I'm going to feed 2 puppies. I've gone ahead and prepared a big tube. They're eating about 15 milliliters a piece. And I'm going to go ahead and put my tube in. And my tube stops right here. I can feel it. And when I push, you'll see it bubble. See that? How the milk comes up? And you can see the flow. Now their nose when they're nursing is going to be right here. And you watch, and if you'll lift their chin while they're sucking, this milk, if you overflow, will not go up their nose. So let me get this preemie. And I mean, he is teeny tiny preemie. And he looks dehydrated, but he's not. He's got plenty of fluid. Move, Squickies. Move, Squickie. I have a towel rolled here. Oops. I have a towel rolled so it keeps him kind of going uphill. And I've already got a little bit of milk in here. Let me make it a little bit more. Oops. I lost my tube. This goes really fast. I'm going to usually dip the tip of this in milk. But he'll take it. He'll feel it. See? He's already got it. And then I'm going to lay. Whoops. Come on, baby darling. See, I'm a wiggly butt. It's hard to keep it in my mouth. Okay. And I'll just keep my finger under the chin. Come on, baby darling. He's so tiny. He has a hard time sometimes. But you can lay him on the roll. With him, I need more control, so I don't flood his little... Oops! See, I flooded his nose. Just hold their chin up. And you can watch this. You can watch the fluid come into the sponge and be sure that you don't overflow. Believe it or not, he's getting this pretty fast. He's already had a milliliter. Or no, 5. No. Wait a minute. He's gone from 30 to 25, yeah. Let's see his nose bubble a little. Let's see if I can get him to lay without losing it. And I'll put my thumb up under his chin. Now see, now he's going to suck in the upward position. Whichever works best. But I try to keep my thumbs or my hand or something wrapped around them to direct their head. But give them something to push on if you can. It's real hard for anybody to do with only 2 hands. But give them something to push their little pads on. And then you can just slowly, if you look at the milliliters, zoom in on the milliliters, Alvin. You can see I can put maybe 0.2 in there. If you do it with your thumb and hold it in your fist. Now if you overflow while it's in your hand, as long as you're not flooding their nose, they'll drip out through the bottom. But we don't really waste anything. But he sucks really good. He's already had almost a half of an ounce. And he's still sucking. And when he gets full, he'll spit that thing out and bow his head back. And you can look at their belly and tell if they've had enough. And I'll show you that in just a second. He's almost done. See, I'm almost done. Whoopsie. Whoopsie. Oops, whoops, we lost it. Hold on, let's dry your nose. I got one hand. Let's stab your little nose dry. Okay. Here we go again. If you can see. Are you full? No, not quite yet. Come on. You gotta kind of guide it with him. He's real hard to... There you go. See, he gets a lot of that in his mouth. And it's directing in that tube. Right to his mouth. If I keep his chin up, he usually does good. But this is so much easier. Tubing is dangerous. I know how to tube. I've been doing it since I was about 12 years old with beagles and rescues and things like that. And tubing is easy for me, but for a lot of people it's not, or they're scared or intimidated. If you don't know what you're doing and what you're feeling for, you can kill them. You'll puncture a lung, or puncture a stomach, or puncture the esophagus. This right here is a great alternative, and I'm telling you, it's so much faster and less dangerous, and it works great. This tube, just putting this tube in the end of the sponge is way better than any other idea, and it works really good. Now see, he's got 0.3 left to go, and he's going to be full as a tick. He'll eat about 15 milliliters. We're almost done. And then I can do his brother. Whoopsie. But he's still sucking good. And at least he's turned around. I usually keep their feet on either side of the sponge. But I want y'all to be able to see how he's sucking. A little bit more. And then we'll look at our belly. And you don't want to give them too much, but they'll stop when they're full. This sponge is a little wet. Now see, I don't have to give him any more. He's had 15. And I could. Now I'll take this tube out. And you can just hold the sponge. If you have a hard time with that tube, you know, we're right there at the end. See, he's full. And I want you to look how fat this little belly is. From here to here wide. And see, he's full. He's had enough. And I'm going to dry him off. I don't normally get him this wet, but I kind of flood it over. Hard to do with two hands. Sometimes you'll make a mess. Anyways, always make sure the puppy's temp is correct and that the formula is warm and not cold. Never feed a chilled puppy. Always bring it to temperature. But y'all look at this teeny little thing. He's finally got some hair on his head. And he's, I think he's a week old today. Maybe 8 days. Anyway, brother's a little bit bigger than him. But that's how you sponge feed. And that was 15 ounces and he's full. No problem with a bottle. Keeping it, because his mouth is so little. It's hard to put him on a nipple. And it's hard to put him on a bottle. So that sponge works fantastic. And I'm glad I finally tried it. But I had good success and it's great. Okay, that's it.